Heyo, what's up? I'm Viel, or otherwise known as Evil Viel on the internet. So, I'm doing this not because, I'm the best illustrator or because I'm an expert per se, but some friends, requested it and I kind of want to share my process. So, it's gonna be a quick time lapse, but I'm gonna explain, what I'm doing as it goes on and why I do it as well. This is not gonna be a basic tutorial. Some of the things that I'll be talking about is a little bit advanced. So who knows if it all goes well, I might actually teach something that for that could be easier for beginners. And finally, it's kind of like a warning, but also a fun fact. I am colorblind, so if I call out a color and it's not what I say it is, it's because of you know color blindness. It's just what I see at the moment. This time lapse is gonna be about my magical girl Pat Pat and her magical duck companion Kwek Kwek. So she's basically a Filipina. It's like it's like Cardcaptor Sakura or Sailor Moon. She also undergoes magical transformations and such. This is her base form, her duck scout form. Kwek Kwek is named after this street food in the Philippines, which is basically boiled quail eggs wrapped in um, flour, orange flour, and then deep fried. So yeah, that's what we call Kwek Kwek, or egg waffles if you fancy. Alright, so without further ado, let's start. Right, so you see, we're basically doing construction here. So I'll pause that for a moment. You see that L shape? That's what I call, or not just me, or like what a lot of people call the line of action. So it basically just shows the direction of the whole illustration, the flow, if you will. And then after establishing the line of action, I start drawing shapes. So you see here, I start drawing the head shape and then the torso, and then like a diamond shape for the lower body. And also, if I might say, use reference photos because it helps. It helps a lot. It's always hard to draw from the mind unless you're like super talented, super good. But even those people, need references too, or at least they have references burned in their mind. That's why they don't need it. But reference photos are important, especially for when you're doing construction and such. So as you see here with the shapes, it's a common thing usually with illustrators and animators um, where they contrast their shapes and lines. For example, this one, it's on the left side, it's like a whole straight line. Well, curved, I guess. It's a whole curved line. But then on the other side, it's more of a bent shape. So this contrast is good for making the illustration look more dynamic, making it look more interesting. Yeah. So once I get down the basic shapes and form that I want, I start going more into details. So for example, here I'm doing the hands, doing the face, then the outfit, their poofy dress and such. You see in the background, that's also like a reference that I have. It's called the character sheet. When I'm drawing this character, I go back to to the character sheet so that everything is consistent. And then I add even more details. Uh, there's no necessary reason why I use glue for my constructions. Mainly, it's just because I love the color blue, and also maybe it's kind of about contrasting it from the line art so that it's easier to determine from the black lines that I do over it. I don't know, it just works for me. It could be different for different artists, but that's how I do it. Okay, so now we're starting with the line art. The brush I'm using is by Tristan Yuvienko. Shout out to him. I don't know, I just like using it. You know, I'm using Procreate right now, and um, I really make use of the streamlining tool for my line art, mainly because it makes me more efficient and helps me finish the work faster. Uh, you know, uh, I think there might be some people out there who think it's cheating, but I don't think it is. It's basically you're just making use of the tools readily available for you. So you see, there's no specific direction for here. Sometimes I go from head to bottom. That's how I do my line art. Or sometimes I go to specific parts of the body, then I do line art for that. Or it's a bit more of like layering. And then I'd also try to keep in mind the light source. So the light source may be like around the top or around the top left. So sometimes I do what I do in the line art is those that are directly under the light, the lines there would be thinner, and then the ones opposite that would be thicker or heavier. And then now I'm doing Kwek, and then all the other details. So as you see here, my style basically derives from comic book style, illustrations. So sometimes after I do the all of the line art, the base line art, I start adding more details, such as these lines here, to show more depth. So it's not just like flat lines. And then also I start adding like solid color blocks of black for the shading as well, which is basically also derived from comic book illustrations. Like a lot of what I do usually also includes like blackening out part of the chin, because that's the to emphasize the face as well. And then after that, when I'm done with all the line art, I start doing the color. So we start with the base colors here. So I cover everything, and then I put clipping masks all over it, and then I start putting the individual colors from different on the different parts of the illustration, which is another reason why, if you have your own characters, you should have character sheets as well. Because for example, you're doing an illustration of her and you want to get the colors consistent, you have to have those character sheets, so you could just ink drop the colors and use them directly. So once I have the base colors done, usually to save space I flatten it, but if I have a lot of space anyway, it's fine as it is. So after that, I go with the eyes. You see, usually sometimes it's the first thing I do or the last thing I do, the eyes. And I try my best to like make it really pop. And then after that I start doing the shading. I use blue or purple for the shading, specifically for, I guess, branding purposes, because as I've said, I love the color blue. And then so to make my illustrations a bit more consistent with each other, I apply it to almost all of my illustrations. I say either blue or purple because sometimes I can't tell the difference. And then I set that layer as a multiply layer, and then when I'm done, I start doing the highlights. So for example, here I use a very soft brush um, and then I try to erase or thin out parts, like for the hair highlights and the cap highlights, and then once I'm okay with that, I set the color blend as a soft light, and then finally I add what you call rim light, this white light around the edges, and then now I start adding the background. For this one, I did like some bokeh effects, and then I just motion blurred it to convey, motion because she is jumping. So I tried blurring out some parts of her as well, or like making streaks, but doesn't really work. So I didn't go with it. And there you go. That's basically how I do my illustrations. So please like, share, retweet, subscribe, comment, or whatever. I'll be posting this around. I'm not sure if it's just on YouTube or whatever. So yeah, sharing really helps. Also, let me know if you want to see more stuff, or anything more specific, or more specific tutorials. So I might make more of these time lapse things. So who knows? Thank you so much.